Someone please debunk me. You can actually evict the Maui wildfire survivors? Like, tell me you're joking.
Do not give up Maui. Do not let them take your land. I just saw this morning, just now on TikTok, they are giving eviction notices to people whose houses didn't burn down.
No fucking way. Like, I wasn't in the conspiracy camp where, like, space lasers caused the Hawaiian wildfires on purpose, but I sure shit knew BlackRock, Vanguard, and other bankers weren't gonna give up a fire sale, so, like, before I freak out and, like, start sharpening the guillotines, like, maybe this is just a one-off, right?
This Lahaina shit is insane. I have a friend who lost his home, he lost everything, but this isn't for him, this is somebody else by him. They didn't lose their home, but they're about to, because the mayor is evicting the entire fucking building. Some of the only people that still had homes, and they're evicting them. They have 45 days. Pause to read.
I wish I didn't fucking pause to read. You mean to tell me that if the sus wildfire didn't make me homeless, the government is now going to, even though I had a home to go back to? And like, does the excuse even make sense to anyone? It's like you have no press release on how you're gonna rehabilitate the area, but you will hand me an eviction notice and tell me I have 45 days to get out, but like, I'll get my deposit back, just don't be late on rent. Like, you haven't even talked to FEMA on how you're gonna rehouse everybody that is actually homeless. Like, we're supposed to believe you now?
These are the last people on this island in this little area that have a home still, and they're kicking them out of it. I hope this is the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Let me make sure I understand everything about this godforsaken timeline so I'm not overreacting. You mean to tell me that a sus wildfire wiped out all the homes of all the locals living in an area that's coincidentally the most valuable in all of Maui, and the insurance companies won't cover the majority of the damages, but also coincidentally, all the rich bankers and real estate developers are willing to buy the land for cheap, like they won't give you full price because the building's missing, but they'll give you more than what it's worth now. And like, this is all legal. Like, this shit's okay. Like if I just blow all my money on like guillotines and like Kevlar and rounds, like is this like, I don't know, like, hey conservatives, this is your fucking time to shine. Second Amendment, tell us what it's for, man. I don't fucking know. Am I overreacting? Somebody please debunk me. Like, this cannot be legal. This side note, if somebody has a 501c in Lahaina ready to go, like, I'll tell you exactly what to fucking do to fight fire with fire. Like don't give some stupid random ass Asian TikTok or anything. Just, I can't, they can't, how is this possible?
So after everything that's happened over the last week in Maui, the death, the destruction, over 1,000 people missing that the mainstream media is not reporting on. This is one of the most important messages that the governor and the mayor have for you.
So the question is around public trust.
Well, first and foremost, if you're relying on social media, doing reporting through social media is idiotic. Doing reporting in person is intelligent.
And remember, these are the same people that told everybody to stay away from each other in person because of their last deep state psyop, which forced everybody to go online to talk about it.
Don't use social media to judge these questions. You have people who are predators on social media. We know that for a fact. You have people who want to spread negativity. I and others give you raw data on these crises. You can look here and see if you can trust me. You can look at this strong gentleman behind me as mayor and ask whether you trust him.
The absolute nerve that these people have. Put away your cell phones and your tablets, says the mayor.
Get off your phone. Get off your tablet.
We will provide you with the information that you need to consume.
I think you'll let me answer the questions, Governor.
Listen to us and everyone else. Shut the hell up. America, this is the government that we allowed to get above us. Now it's time for we the people to take it back.
This is the most important video I've made on TikTok, so hear me out. Let me tell you what's actually going on here. I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, I don't normally do. All I do is show footage. I show you guys what's happening on the ground here in West Maui. I showed the same thing in Florida during the hurricanes, and I let you decide what you want to think, and I show a bunch of raw footage, and that's pretty much it. And what I want to talk about is the fact that I've had so much pushback. I've had so many powerful people, attorneys, and others contacting me, trying to shut me down. Every time I do this, I get a lot of pushback. And I think it's very telling because all I'm doing is showing you guys what's going on. And there are powerful people that do not want that to happen. They want major media and news organizations to come out here and to show you 30-second snippets and to tell you what to think. Right? So they don't show you everything, and then they tell you what's going on with their agenda, whatever it is, right? I'm not doing any of that. I'm just showing what's going on, and people not only do we not have power, not only do we not have internet, not only do we not have a way of communicating, I've just been told the water is now contaminated with some kind of chemicals from the thing. I mean, I don't know anything other than what people tell me, but that's what I've been told, is that like we can't use our water now. The real situation is they are telling us basically that if we leave our house, we can't come back. We don't. So they're deciding what water we drink, what food we eat, where we go, who we talk to, and I can't get out and do my normal job, and I'm getting all this pushback. I've had dozens of major media outlets contact me since I started covering West Maui, wanting my clips, and I've sold it to none of them.
I guess I'm just going to say it. What's going on in Hawaii is not an accident. It's not wildfires. It's not. It was caused by direct energy weapons, and it is a way for the elitists to eradicate society that they feel does not need to exist there, so that their corporate buddies and themselves can acquire all the land and the property there. I mean, think about it. If they can acquire a whole land, somewhat like Martha's Vineyard, where it's just the rich amongst the rich and we get the poor little peasants out of there, think of all of the secrecy and privacy that can go on there as well. I mean, it's common sense. Just think about it. Think about why, the motives behind it. They're going to have an island, another place where they can cohabitate and mingle with their fellow narcissistic global.
The destruction of Maui is completely insane, and I'm going to get a little conspiratorial for a minute. First of all, these extremely strange green lasers appeared in the sky over Hawaii in January of this year, and NASA said it was most likely a Chinese pollution monitoring satellite. Yeah, okay. That satellite uses LiDAR imaging to detect atmospheric aerosols, but usually those lasers would be invisible. Whoever it was, why was there a literal grid of green lasers in the sky over Hawaii right before a major catastrophe? This photo is now making the rounds, inferring that the fires were started by some kind of directed energy weapon. Which, because I'm a psycho, I of course believe is a possibility, but not because of this photo. This picture actually entered the conversation about Maui when Stu Peters uploaded it to Twitter with no caption. He probably uploaded it with no caption because he's well aware the picture is actually a time-lapse photograph of a Falcon 9 launch. Well, that's according to other people on Twitter, so who knows. But the picture definitely existed on the internet well before any of the Maui fires. But it does kind of remind me of the hundreds of Canadian wildfires that started simultaneously earlier this year. Or this thermal imaging taken during the California wildfires seeming to show a beam coming down and igniting some of the fires. Or this footage taken just before and during the Mount Etna eruption in 2016, showing a beam coming down seeming to ignite the eruption. And the official narrative doesn't really exist yet. The media is saying it was brush fires intensified by hurricane force winds coming from Hurricane Dora, but I couldn't find any confirmation of any authorities confirming that it was brush fires in the first place, or what started the brush fires. The argument as to why the fire spread so quickly and why so many buildings seem to be flatly leveled is that the hurricane force winds caused a firestorm. But one thing hurricanes are also known for is extreme precipitation, rainfall. Can hurricanes have no rain? Sure. Outside the eye wall of a hurricane, rain bands spiral inwards towards the eye wall. These rain bands are capable of producing heavy rain and wind, and occasionally tornadoes. Sometimes there are gaps between the bands where no rain is found. So there's always rain except for small gaps in between the bands, sometimes. But the weather services have been tracking Hurricane Dora since late July, so I don't know. But the absolute destruction of Lahaina is what's causing a lot of us conspiracy nuts to question things. I'm sure fire and wind are capable of intense destruction, but in a matter of hours, this entire town went from peaceful to almost completely leveled. Anytime directed energy weapons are mentioned, most people just think it's completely ridiculous and that they're not real, which I understand why you'd think that, but they're definitely real. This is the Boeing YAL-1, a megawatt-class airborne laser weapons system mounted inside a modified military Boeing 747. The first test flight of the YAL-1 was in 2002. That's just a single example that this is not a new idea. And that's probably nothing in comparison to classified weapons systems that exist today. I bring this up because a lot of people are starting to believe that we're currently in the next level of warfare, or fifth generational warfare. Wars over land, resources, supply chain, public perception, and other reasons fought primarily through non-kinetic military actions with high levels of deniability. All the food processing plants that have burnt down or exploded, the Ohio train derailment and ensuing chemical fire, and all the metal and chemical factories that have just blown up in the last year in North America have caused some people to speculate if all these disasters are connected to fifth-generational warfare. So was Maui an unfortunate perfect storm of terrible once-in-a-lifetime atmospheric conditions? Or the next casualty of fifth-generational warfare? Let me know in the comments. Oh, you already did? I'm capping? Oh, okay.
Wow, take a look at how Russia destroyed Ukraine. Oh wait, this is actually Maui, and this is the aftermath of the wildfire that pretty much destroyed one of the most historical towns. And what is the President of the United States doing?
Mr. President, are you going to take questions on Maui?
Can you come talk about Maui? Can you come talk about Maui, Mr. President?
President, any comments on the rising death toll on Maui?
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
And instead of addressing what happened in Maui first, your president decided to ask for more money to send to Ukraine. Because clearly what's happening outside America is way more important. He's not asking for money to figure out how to rebuild Lahaina. He's asking for money for Ukraine. And what's even more sketchy, reports are circulating that Hawaii's robust emergency siren warning system was silent during the entire wildfire. So who turned it off? And this TikToker is claiming that the water just so happened to be shut off during the wildfire and the kids were not at school that day. Why?
But y'all, did y'all know that they shut the water off? They shut all the water off. So I seen a video saying like, oh, this smart man used the water hose to fight off the fire from his house. Everybody tried. The water was off. Not only that, all the children were home because school was canceled that day. They were all home. And the parents weren't there to evacuate them.
And people are also pointing out that this Maui police chief was also in the Las Vegas Police Department during the mass shooting at the Mandalay Bay on the Las Vegas Strip. You can't make this up. We're in a movie. He literally just got the job in Maui a little over a year ago. But let's go a little further in the rabbit hole. This article can be found on the World Economic Forum's website. How Hawaii plans to be the first U.S. state to run entirely on clean energy. Lahaina is a small city full of small businesses, okay? Making it the perfect destination for a new smart city. Those who know. They can't start in like Honolulu or something while the big guys are. They gotta go after the small people like us first. Check out this clip of the governor saying the quiet part out loud.
Governor Josh Green had to say, along with the FEMA director, about preserving Lahaina moving forward.
I'm already thinking about ways for the state to acquire that land so that we can put it into workforce housing, to put it back into families, or to make it open spaces in perpetuity as a memorial to people who were lost.
I'm already thinking about ways for the state to acquire that land.
Governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, no pun intended, was literally at the United Nations 2 months ago bragging about how Hawaii is becoming the first state to be 100% sustainable.
We tried to lead on energy and climate. We were the first state to mandate 100% renewable energy for electricity. So it's again an opportunity as a small state with technically a small footprint, but we do punch above our weight a little bit because of our position in the Pacific.
Speakers were invited to help implement the United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals in 2030.
Isn't it also questionable that Oprah just bought 870 acres of land in Maui, giving her total of land ownership in Maui to 1,000 acres? And of course, nothing Oprah owned was destroyed. Neither were the homes of celebrities like Will Smith, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Lady Gaga. All their homes remained untouched during the wildfire. And this is allegedly where the fire started. Isn't it weird that it's forming like a perfect oval shape? Like, the fire literally got in formation. I'd never seen anything like this. But what do I know? I'm just a crazy, loony, conspiracy theorist psychopath. Thoughts?